Morning, gang. Hey, Fred Hensley, how you doing? Early, definitely. Yeah, it's 9 something in the morning right now. Nice and chilly, but still humid. So it's cold and you're still sweaty. That's how that's how dedicated Star Trek fans are. They're coming here to put this fan project together, the ultimate fan project, which is, I can tell you right now, is going to it's going to blow your minds when you see it. It's I was in awe because especially when they're interviewing the characters, because it's documentary style, just like Prelude was, which is a nice original format for Star Trek. Uh, things that take place for Star Trek. Uh, Things that take place in the Star Trek universe. Um, it was amazing because I felt like, because when they do the interviews as if it's taking place in where are we at, the 24th century, 23rd century. I can't remember. Be kind to me, you guys. I can't remember everything, all the details, but you feel like you're actually in that. But you feel like you're actually in that time frame when they're doing the interviews, like you're watching a futuristic. You are in the future watching a documentary. You are in the future watching a documentary being made, and I got to see Tanaka be interviewed last night, and it blew me away. What's up? Hey, JP. Good morning, JP. You are broadcast now. Good morning, Axanarians. One of you guys, I think it was on my channel, Egotastic Fun Time, link down below. Uh, were calling us because we're trying to figure out, oh, what's a good name for Axanar fans. Someone put ST Ax Stacks. Kind of fell in love with that one. Hey, Eccleston, how you doing? I hope you're feeling better. James R. Belts. Good morning, JP. We're getting a cool front moving into West Tennessee this morning with thunderstorms and rain at Ist. If you look here on the map, you'll see there's a nice cold front coming in this way. Let's walk around and see what's going on. Let me move the camera over here. Now, they're filming or getting ready to film on the bridge set right now. We'll check that out a little bit later. We'll make sure it's all clear and we're not walking in on something right in the middle of something. R. Kelly. So let's go around here. We're going to go to the secondary studio where they're doing the behind the scenes interviews, which is a whole other to do. Did you guys see the new Picard trailer? Hey, from England. Can't wait for Axanar. Say hello to England, you guys.
Hello, England. I got transferred from engineering to security.
All right. And by the way, that headset is not a prop.
No, this is real.
If it were a prop, it would look a lot more futuristic.
I like that line. I'm in the right color shirt.
All right, we're going this to the costume. Well, I didn't luck out the first couple days. It was hot as F. I was sweating my axe off. I got stuff going on here. This is the costume area. Working on stuff there. How you guys doing today? Ready for some more Star Trek or Axanar in the Star Trek universe? That's right. How's everybody doing in here? You guys ready for some more Axanar?
Yeah, we're getting ready.
We're getting ready.
She's all ready. She's good to go.
Yeah. She was born ready.
No, she doesn't even need makeup, man. She's good to go.
Hey, I can listen, you guys. If I'm doing makeup in here, please ask me if it's okay to come in here. Thanks so much.
Gotcha.
I appreciate it.
There we go, you guys. See? Let's make sure we're not getting in there. Gotta be careful. They're putting the makeup on you guys. All right, they're getting ready for the Alec Peters behind the scenes interview. Let's get a bird's eye view. Well, no, not a bird's eye view. A JP's eyes view.
I haven't gotten sick in the last 10 years. I used to get kind of sore. I used to feel like you.
Hope we're not breaking up. Sometimes when this far away from the Wi-Fi, it gets a little crazy.
Well, I've got all that Eastern European stock at base. So I mean, even when I'm thin, I've got a solid frame. So if I get down to 2 1/4, that'll be fighting weight for me.
That's 100 pounds.
Yeah.
You can do it.
I'd like to do it by my birthday,
When's your birthday?
St. Patrick's Day, March.
Okay.
I'd like to do it by my birthday,
When's your birthday?
St. Patrick's Day, March.
Okay. You can do it.
You didn't get all that, did you, JP?
What's that?
You were live streaming that whole thing, were you?
I was live. I don't think it picks up very much, except for video. I pretty much do the voiceover for you.
Okay, cool.
I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
What's up, egotastic Axanar fans?
Yeah, this is Axanar channel.
Was that Axanar channel?
Yeah.
So it's Axanar egotastic fans.
There you go.
We're all fans of egotastic fun time. JP Pool, who's the man? How you doing, guys? So right now we're going to do some behind the scenes. We're going to Keith M. Cedar is interviewing me, so this is a little behind the scenes footage for later for the Blu-ray, as well as some stuff for the crowdfunding video we've got to do, because there's a private crowdfunding campaign going on to pay for all of this. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. So because we got so much footage, we can't wait to put it together and show it to everyone. So that's what we're doing. And this is Barry. Barry's one of our sound guys.
Jeremy.
Barry's doing all the real work because he's got to constantly mic people. Aaron took the easy job. He just sits back there and looks at levels.
Right.
Barry's like,
If they do, I do what they do, only slower.
yeah. You do it more often.
Card reader running, or do I need to step and fetch one?
Okay, so we got
They
the
said
card,
they
right? You got the card.
The cards are right here in my hand. They do not leave my side.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get a reader for it.
Someone's gotta-
Yeah, I should
S-Bang.
have a USB reader.
Did Jamie not have a card reader?
You're waiting for a melody.
Yeah, it's a different. CF card? Yeah, it's different.
That's the exact same that Aaron took.
All right, we'll do one right now. Axanar. It's time for Axanar. They're going to go to the Canon universe. Uplifting Gene. Write Mary's message of a brighter future.
Cool.
And we're gonna kick some clean on booties.
That's Sogi and
Should be a
Darren.
CF. Just a regular CF. Yeah. Ooh. That's all the stuff the sound devices will be using. Yeah, it's like 15 years old.
See, you guys asked for it, you got
Is
it.
this industry? We're still using industry terms from like a
We're gonna call that one X to the future.
You got old school Reese?
I want a new track, one that won't make me sick, one where people work together,
Take a listen, make sure he's
try to get
all right.
into the thick.
Axa fans. Hey, Lauren Osborne. Lauren is Paul, our director of strategic parking operations.
There you go.
That's his
How's
daughter.
it going, Keith?
We can't call Paul security because he works
have-
for Homeland Security. Literally. Like, our security team is like all special forces.
It's Section 31.
Most overkill security in the history of
Yeah, it's
film.
section 31.
It's Section 31.
Yeah.
With bigger guns. Russ drives up yesterday. Russ is one of our guys. He's still active duty military. His car has more firepower than some small armies.
All right. We're set.
Okay, good news. I got to see the footage, so it's definitely here.
Good man.
And I know
I love the smell
exactly
of
what
warp
frame
plasma in the
we
morning.
left off on.
Oh man, dude, this guy.
The
Our
co-
BTS crew.
he's the
By the way,
consummate
our
professional.
BTS crew is better than most production crews. Our BTS crew is so on the ball. Ty.
There's time. Well, there's something I do want to show. We got more flair here with those shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I got to get me a pair of those.
Thank you.
Dude, I would tell you your feet are on fire, but that would be literal.
And Barry, how many behind the scenes crews have a sound guy? Like a production sound guy. He could be doing the sound in our movie, but he's doing BTS.
That's right.
We do not screw around with Axanar. All right, I'm all yours, Keith.
All right, ready,
Where
guys?
we leave, you knew where we leave.
I'm gonna have to fix the boom.
So we left.
Up, down,
Where
right,
did we
left,
fall?
where am I going?
Not like that,
I
but
have
yeah.
another question I'm asking you next,
Yes,
right,
sir.
when Paul came in. So
Boom, that's what I'm talking about.
basically, I'm going to be talking about
How's that?
how things changed for you when Axanar was released in 2014. And, you know what, you know,
That's good.
how
That's good.
his expectations shattered and things like that.
Yeah.
Quiet on the set.
Good time?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, sir. Sounds good. And do the clap thing again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Boom's in the shot. Just a smidge.
Just where am I going?
Up a little more.
Up a smidge. Up a scooch.
No, snitch, not scotch.
We
Perfect.
use technical terms here.
I know.
Good?
Yes.
Alright. Alright, we're speeding, and now if you can clap in front of the camera, please.
And
The lights stayed on. I'm sorry. Don't they go off when I do that?
Gotta do it twice.
Action. So, Alec, the release of Axanar, the release of Prelude to Axanar in 2014, was a seminal moment in both fan filmmaking and in your life. Tell us about your expectations immediately prior to releasing it and what you experienced after all the adulation.
So, I think we always wanted to make a professional looking fan film. That was always our goal. We always wanted it to really hit the high mark, so it was indistinguishable. So we always wanted to make a professional looking fan film. We wanted it to be indistinguishable from studio made Star Trek. And so we always had pretty high expectations. What I think we did better than we thought was, while it was certainly professional and it looked great and everyone loved that about it, nothing looked like a fan film. I think realistically it was the story and the characters really just came to life so much more than I really expected it to. It's like it really was adding that technicolor to the black and white script, right? And so that struck a chord with fans. I mean, Prelude to Axanar was certainly a seminal moment in my life, and certainly a important point in fan filmmaking, not just Star Trek, but overall fan filmmaking. But I would argue it was an important point in Star Trek lore as well, you know, in just the history of the franchise, that we did something that was so good that not only did it, in a way, get CBS to take action against us, but it coalesced all the fans behind us, where there's so many fans who not only consider Axanar canon, but they want to see more of it. They want to embrace it. They want it to be part of their life, which is why we're here. So I think that's what's really special about Axanar and how we kind of exceeded our own expectations. No one expected that. We were like, oh, we're going to make a fan film and everyone's going to like it, and that's it, and we'll make a movie out of it. But I think it just became a lot bigger than we anticipated, because so many people, I always say that filmmaking is a collaborative effort, and so many people contributed to making Axanar great, including the fans who embraced it.
A lot of people love Star Trek, and a lot of people have ideas for stories, and a lot of people think, oh, wouldn't it be cool if? What was different for you? What was the driving force that was so motivational that had you take the spark of imagination and actually bring it to life, and in the scope and scale that you actually did?
Well, I think filmmaking as a producer is a lot like building a company, which I've done a couple times. It's entrepreneurial. And so the key component, at least for me in my world, which what I've done in various companies or various productions, is having a vision. You have to have a vision. And I always tell the story about how when I started my company Protworks, which is an auction house for Hollywood movie memorabilia, and the first project I got was Battlestar Galactica, and we sold all the assets of Battlestar Galactica. And I pitched Universal, and I got the job by pitching my vision. And they almost went with another company based on operations. And I told them, operations are easy, vision is hard. I said, you need to find the company that has your vision. And they bought into my vision. So we did the auction, and the first auction we did it was spectacular. It looked like a museum the way we set up the Pasadena Convention Center. And I was walking around with the guy from Universal who was in charge, and he said to me, he said, oh my God, this is amazing. He said, Alec, did you ever think it would look like this? And I turned to him and I said, yeah, of course, this is exactly what I thought it would look like. That's why you hired me, you know? And so I think once you have that vision, it's about executing that vision. And that means you get the right people who can execute your vision. And so just like that project, which certainly was a lot less people than Axanar, in Prelude to Axanar, it was getting so many great people and getting them to all do a little piece of it. You know, whether it's the editing, the directing, the lighting, the promotion, the producing. You get great people who can fulfill your vision, who can execute on your vision. And so you wind up being like Gene Roddenberry, that you have a vision and then you get great people to execute, right? Gene Roddenberry was nothing without Robert Justman, you know, without Sam Peoples, without any Feinberger. You go on and just name the list of people, great people who worked on Star Trek. Bill Tice, who did the costuming, right? So that's what it is, and that's why I may be the face of Axanar, but I am not. I didn't do it by myself. I had a lot of great people, and we continue to have great people. I mean, the thing about the new production is that there are so many great people working on it. The reason the producer says to me, this looks better than Prelude, is because the people we have on it, from the director to the producers, are all top notch. I would argue we are continually trying to upgrade and get better and better people, more passionate, more driven, more committed. I mean, they're all Star Trek fans. They love it, but they know what they're doing, and that's what makes Axanar special.
Tell us about your Star Trek fandom. What is it about Star Trek that is so inspiring for you that brings you to a place in your life where you're doing Axanar?
Well, I think Star Trek, we've talked about this before, you know, some people say, oh, Star Trek changed my life. Star Trek didn't change my life. I was 6 when I saw Star Trek, right, when I first saw Star Trek. But it kind of directed my life. It always influenced my life. It was always there in the background, or sometimes in the foreground. And I think if we're true Star Trek fans, then we need to embrace the ideas that Gene Roddenberry was espousing, that Star Trek espouses. Right? When we say, who's your favorite captain, and you say Picard, I think you're saying the things that make Picard a person are attractive to me. Right? So some people like Kirk. Well, okay, some people like Picard. I'm a Cisco fan. Right? What about Cisco makes him my favorite captain? Well, he's an ass kicker, but he's also a great father. So that inspires me. I think he is an incredibly well-rounded. I would argue he is the most well-rounded of the captains, because he had to raise a son himself, and there's a whole side of him that we didn't see in any other captain. Kirk didn't have kids, you know. Well, he had a kid, but he wasn't a father, arguably. You know, Picard didn't have kids. He wasn't a father. And I would argue that one of the most inspiring points in all the time we've seen Picard was in Generations, when we saw him being a father, right? But we didn't see that in it. So that's what it is about Cisco, his interaction with Jake, him having to raise a kid by himself on a space station while he's saving the galaxy from the Dominion, you know? So Star Trek, I think, inspires us in ways, and we hopefully find those things that we find inspiring, whatever character it is that we love, and we then incorporate those parts into our life. Yes, we can sit down with our friends and just enjoy watching another episode of Star Trek. I mean, you know, Doomsday Machine is my favorite TOS episode. Doesn't mean it necessarily inspires me in one way or another in my life. It's just ass-kicking fun, you know? So, so I hope, you know, I think this is one of the things I always say about the people who may be, you know, and the internet is so full of vitriol and bile and hatred these days. Well, there's no place for that in Star Trek. You cannot be a true Star Trek fan and be hateful of anything, including Discovery. If you don't like Discovery, okay, I mean, there are things I don't like about Discovery, and there are things I do like, but I don't hate it, because hatred is not something that Gene Roddenberry espoused. He felt that it had no place in the Federation, and I would argue that's really important. So if you're hateful of something, then you're really failing to live up to the ideals of Star Trek. How about we embrace things? How about we learn about new peoples, new cultures, right? We can do that right here on Earth. We don't have to worry about learning about aliens. How about we learn about other people? How about we learn about other cultures? How about we're not scared? How about we're embracing of people rather than disdainful of people? And I think that's it. I mean, listen, we've undergone, this culture, this society has undergone such a renaissance in the past 10 years. I mean, 10 years ago, who thought that gay marriage would be legal, right? And now it's legal. Matter of fact, and it's legal because my nephew's generation, the 20-somethings and 30-somethings, they're like, what's the big deal, right? That's so Star Trek. I mean, my nephew's like, what is this big deal about gay marriage? I mean, that is Star Trek. Their attitude is one of inclusion, one of differences don't matter. And that's Star Trek. And that's what I hope, you know, when we talk about our Star Trek fandom, how about we embrace more things and love more things and not be disdainful of them?
You made a very professional looking fan film 5 years ago. So it's been half a decade. Compare and contrast your filmmaking efforts for Prelude to Axanar with what you're doing now with the next 2 episodes of The 4 Years War.
Well, I think everyone on Axanar now has set Prelude as the floor. Prelude's the bar we have to get up and over. But just exceeding it is not enough. I mean, just hitting it. Just if we made 2 more episodes of The 4 Years War that look like Prelude to Axanar, I mean, fans would like it, but I'm not sure it would be necessarily fulfilling to all of us on the crew. And I include everyone from the DP and the producers, you know, who love Prelude to Axanar, down to the volunteers, you know, who are supporting the effort with their, you know, blood, sweat, and tears. I think we all want to make something better, right? It's not just continuing the story, it's exceeding what we've done before. And that really is the challenge. And I think it's something that everyone wants to do and everyone embraces. So whether you're the DP or whether you're the producer or whether you're the writer, you know, I think it's a lot, it's very important that we exceed our own expectations on what we can do. And that takes, I mean, listen, I don't know I don't remember exactly what we spent on equipment on Prelude, but I bet we're spending like 3 times that much now. Just, you know, we're getting better cameras, we're getting bigger grip trucks, we're getting a better BTS setup. You know, here I am sitting in this captain's chair, we're filming this behind the scenes footage, and I've got a camera that we can swap out onto the production filming me, which we didn't have before, and I've got an amazing sound guy with production quality sound equipment recording my sound. Well, when we recorded behind the scenes on Prelude and the Vulcan scene, it was a really simple Panasonic camera, and that was it. So just here and now, with what we're doing now, we've upgraded about 10 notches, and spending more money. We have 2 people doing it that, you know, on equipment that we rented that's, you know, kind of expensive. So every aspect of the production is improving over what we did. I mean, we have 30 volunteers here on any given day. I mean, what did I have? Maybe 5 on Prelude, 10 on Prelude. So yeah, it's changed significantly.
What have you learned from the making of Prelude that influenced the making of the next 2 episodes?
well, we could be here all day with that question. What have I learned from Prelude that's influenced the making of the next 2 episodes is a documentary film unto itself. I always say, you know, it's interesting when people criticize you for what you've done, and they say, oh, you know, I don't like this, and this, and whatever. And my attitude is always like, listen, I am not perfect. We've made tons of mistakes, and none of them are the ones that people point out because they're not inside the production. Inside the production, I can tell you, you know, what we did wrong, you know, and how, heck, if I had to do it all over again, I would have bought all the perks right off the bat, or at least created an escrow account in the bank and put aside the money for the perks and never touched that. And we didn't do that. So that, you know, there's a mistake. So now it's coming out of my pocket to ship all the perks and to get the costumes made and the patches shipped out and all that. So I would have done that differently. I would have been, I think I would have been a little less trusting of people because we've been, you know, we've been screwed by people who had their own agendas in being part of the production that weren't, I mean, my agenda is to make this story that I've been dreaming about. It's a dream project, it's a passion project. So if you don't have people who share that vision, who are in it for themselves, they're gonna sabotage it. I think I would have focused more, and of course this is before the guidelines, on professionals, hiring professionals. Not hiring people that were necessarily, I mean, there's 2 categories. There's people who are aspiring to be professionals, young people who are trying to get in the industry, they're such a wonderful asset. But I think there's also people who have struggled in an industry for a while, and again, they've got their own agendas. And I would be wary of that. I would embrace volunteers even more than we've done, because the volunteers are always the backbone of your production. They are there day in, day out for you. I mean, we have a core group of not only local volunteers, but worldwide volunteers that have been amazing. Whether it's, I mean, we've got Simon, one of our art directors in Australia. We've got Alexander, one of our art directors in the UK. We've got, you know, visual effects crews in Europe, and they all work for free, and they all, because they love Axanar, they love what we've created. So I think there's so many, I could go on forever about lessons I've learned, and I think always I am better. You always want to be better every single year. You have to make improvements. If you're not moving forward, you're falling back. Or as the Klingons say, if you're not expanding, you're done. Which I can't say in the Klingon, but it's really cool. And it's in the script.
How has production gone on this first shoot in Atlanta?
So production has been amazing, and that is because we were able to find Star Trek fans who knew what they were doing, right? And it's so interesting. It's just a matter of networking. Literally, the guy who's our producer, who is an enormous Star Trek fan, has been best friends with my best friend for 30 years, and we didn't know each other. It's like, how is that? I mean, I was introduced to him by someone else, and then he's like, you know Johnny? I know Johnny. We're like best friends. It's crazy, but huge Star Trek fan, has worked in the industry, and wanted to come and help us out, and he's going to help out on Jonathan Lane's interlude film as well, just because they're like, come on, let's go have some fun on this film too. Getting great people is such the key, and we've been able to do that. We've been lucky, and I think that's, you know, one thing builds on another. And we can always send people back to look at Prelude, and then people get it. Oh, you know, they go, wow, that's impressive. Okay, I'll be part of that, right? And so there's great. So listen, it's all about people. It's all about the people you have. My vision of what I want out of Axanar is nothing without people. It's just a fan story, you know, and it's the difference that you asked. Let me start. everyone has a fan story. Everyone has a story they want to tell. I've been fortunate to be able to have great people who want to tell my story. That's what makes Axanar special. And the bigger Axanar gets, the less important I am. And I'm totally cool with that. Because at some point, 50 years from now, someone said to me, well, someone said to me, 50 years from now, people are going to look at Axanar and consider it canon. And I'm like, well, that's just about the coolest thing possible. I don't care if anyone ever remembers my name. If they remember Axanar, then we've done our job. We've done our job. We've told the story of Garth of Izar. I think it was really interesting in Star Trek Discovery that when in the first season, they had that list of the 5 most famous captains, and they didn't have Garth on there. Now, we know that was because of Axanar. They literally changed canon. Garth was absolutely he was the greatest explorer up until that time. Kirk said it himself, so Kirk's not wrong. Garth had explored more planets than anyone else, any captain ever. Yet he wasn't in the list of the top 5, and they had Pike there, who had sat out the war. That's CBS trying to write Garth out of the canon. Why? Because we're writing the canon. So fine, CBS, get out of our way. We'll take care of the canon, because that's one thing that's, that Discovery didn't do particularly well. I think we were talking this morning, we were watching the Discovery Season 3 trailer, which looks pretty good. We were like, oh, okay, they said in the future, 1,000 years. Cool, let's see what goes on. Lots of races. It was good. We're looking forward to it. But they should have done that from the beginning. If you're not willing to honor the canon, don't deal with the canon. Take Discovery 1,000 years in the future, you can do whatever the hell you want. But I think that was it. So let us write the canon of what Garth was all about, because we honor that. And I think that's important. I think that's really important.
Alec, what are your expectations for when the product is finished and released to viewers?
Well, J.G. Hertzler was here yesterday, and he took me aside and he said basically, Alec, you're a filmmaker. You need to make films that aren't Star Trek. He basically said, I want to be part of them. When he says, I want you to move on from Star Trek. And I said, don't worry. He said, Axanar is the last fan film we do. I said, I want CBS to just leave us alone, let us make this for the fans, and then let us move on, right? We're adding to this wonderful tapestry that is the Star Trek multiverse, and I wish CBS would just leave us alone and let us do it according to the spirit of the settlement agreement we have from the lawsuit. We're totally trying to honor that, but I'll tell you, I was told by someone who is on set a lot at Discovery, and his comment to me was, oh, everyone up there knows about Axanar. I was like, wow, really? He said, oh yeah. And that's an honor. That's an honor. And that is something that I think everyone here, whether it's Chris, the producer, or right down the line, everyone is responsible. We're here carrying the torch for the classic Star Trek, and that's a real, it's a privilege. Listen, when I'm in public, I was in an Apple store 2 years ago when I was in California, and this father and son came up to me while I was getting my iPhone worked on, and they said, are you Alec Peters? And it was really weird I was like, yeah, do I owe you money? And they said, hey, we're huge fans of Prelude to Axanar. And I was almost shocked. I was like, wow. And he introduced me to his son. I said, well, why don't you guys come to the studio one day and I'll show you the sets and all. So when we have that kind of notoriety, when Axanar has that kind of notoriety, we have a responsibility. And so I think the greatest thing we're doing is leaving a legacy for what Star Trek is for fans. That's what we're doing. We're all sharing our vision of Star Trek with fans, and we're fans, right? And I think that's it. I think that what we want to do, what we want to be known for when we're finished and this is released. And it'll be like Prelude. Everyone's going to love it. It's very few people don't like Prelude, right? Very few people have, we have what, 60,000 positive thumbs up on YouTube or something. Very few people don't like it. It's because of what we're doing and the way we're doing it. So I just hope that when we're finished and when we move on to other things, Axanar just lives on as part of Star Trek lore. I mean, I'm not expecting anything else of it. It was never more than fulfilling a dream of telling a story about this character that we really don't know much about. And I challenge anyone to go back and watch Whom Gods Destroy, and watch those two scenes I keep talking about when they're in the transporter room and at the end, and tell me you don't want to know more about Garth. You can't watch those scenes and not want to go, well, who the hell is this guy? Who's Kirk's hero? This is really fascinating, and that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to tell a story about a character that fascinated me 30 years ago, and I want everyone to know about this guy and this story.
And finally, Alec, what is next after Axanar? What's next for you?
Well, I don't know what's next after Axanar. We've got two different projects that we're talking about that I've worked on a little. And they're both science fiction, of course, because that's what we love. We'll see. We'll see what I really don't have visions in filmmaking after Axanar at this point. I want to get Axanar and get it done. And at the same time, there's real life to deal with, and we all have to take care of our real life obligations. So we'll deal with real life and see how that treats us. And then, we've got this great studio that these fans are supporting through the Patreon campaign, and we've got these great sets. Maybe we repurpose them. Maybe we let other fans make more fan films. Jonathan Lane is making Interlude on these sets next month. Sky's the limit.
Thank you, Alec.
Thank you.
And cut.
Thanks. Let's see. I just want to. I'm just trying to think.
You got anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I just want to. What we need to do.
Okay.
Can I change the camera angle and stuff?
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do. Yeah, so we'll just, one or two more things I want to say.
Right.
So I started at the beginning, so we'll start at the end with the crowdfunding.
Well, I'll let you take this one then.
Yeah, I'll refund. Yeah, and JP, we probably shouldn't be live testing this.
Okay.
Yeah, because this will be about raising money and.
Okay. We'll say goodbye.
Hey, goodbye everyone.
Bye.
Jalong and prosper.
They're gonna talk some business, you guys. We're gonna head over here. We got our own business. I'm gonna need to talk to you guys about something. Let's head out this way. What? You might be thinking, boy, I wonder if JP's arm hurts. No, my arm doesn't hurt at all because my arm has no feeling in it anymore. If something has no feelings in it, it can't hurt. Let me give you a little sneak peek here. Get some of the tunics there. Wonderful work done. Wonderful.
We do get some of the clothing we have there.
Let's go get some of that cool air. Give you guys a little. There's just props everywhere. These aren't being used at all. They're just to set ambiance for the production. There's just little tidbits of memorabilia everywhere, just for people, to feel like, hey, we're doing some. We're part of something that is bigger than ourselves. Oh, JP going to whip someone. I whip my hair back and forth. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You excited about the shoot?
Very excited. Ready to get rolling. It's going to be a lot of fun.
What are you doing today?
Today I'm playing Leonov, chief engineer of the Ares.
Nice.
Very excited to bring the Russian flavor to Ares for everyone to see.
Working with the Russians. That's what we do here.
That's exactly right.
Because you're not Russian anymore. We are all one
That
planet
is
working
correct.
together. And sometimes there's other
Starfleet
planets.
Academy.
Hey,
We
you
still
know.
have heritage. I like to bring the vodka to the ship.
Well, nothing
You'll
wrong with
see.
that.
You'll see.
Nothing wrong with that.
Mr. Tanaka, he liked the vodka, but he doesn't do very well with the vodka. 1 vodka, 2 vodka, 3 vodka, floor. as we like to say.
Oh.
Very
When the
good with
Tanaka
martial
hits
arts,
the
and
floor.
He looks great in a uniform.
Well, he's very good at drunken style.
That is correct.
All right, we'll leave you to it.
Have a good one.
Live long and prosper.
Yes.
Every day, this is the third day, the last day, there's a whole different set of people, of actors. Every day, it's all different actors. Because they're representing a lot of different ships. I wish I had a much longer. I gotta be quiet. They're shooting next door. Hold on. Actually, we're fine. Don't worry about it. We're outside. Outside. Let's see what's going on in here. How's it going in here, guys?
They're filming.
They're filming, yeah.
Chaloja.
Chaloja. I wish I had a much longer.
The delay.
Yeah, the delay. Now, these are the people you've been talking to. All right, they called cut, you guys. So if you've been talking in the chat, this is who you've been talking to. Got Stogie. We got Trey of Axanar Comics. There's Darren. Oh, you don't want to know. You don't want to know Herb. Got the crew truck there. Now, when I first got here on Thursday, there was like 2 cars parked here. Let me go out a little bit. I don't want to go too far away from the Wi-Fi. Kate isn't part of this section of the shoot. In this section, we have a lot of crew members for the different ships, and J.G. Hertzler, he did all his stuff. Oh man, I'll tell you right now, J.G. on the set, in the captain's chair, on the bridge. It's the coolest damn image you could ever put into your mind. Now, if you follow any of the Axanar social media, or if you go to the community page, you're gonna see some awesome shots of JG on the bridge. Just being in charge. How you doing, Sydney Fain? Starweaver? Eccleston? We're gonna sneak over and just we're gonna be quiet. We're not gonna say anything. We're gonna see what's going on the bridge set real quick. I'm gonna stay back though.
Is any of my stuff usable? Do you have to do any tweaking in the photo?
We haven't been working on it.
Okay.
I looked through it and there's a lot I can use.
Sure. That's fine.
Alright, let's take a look here. Gotta be quiet because you never know what they're in the middle of. question, Starweaver. It'll be free.
Thank you, everyone. It's being quiet.
Beautiful, yes, do that. No, Hassan is accompanying, Ashley right now. I'll come together. Whoever.
I believe that's Jenna. She keeps everybody in line. She knows what she is doing.
Good morning, doctor.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, she runs a tight ship. There's Chris Hatch over there walking to the door. He was a red shirt. You'll see him. He's a red shirt, I believe, on the Aries. Since they're setting up, let's go. Here's Jenna again.
Hey guys, the volume's creeping up a bit. Carry on, please. Let's keep it somber and quiet.
And then we're gonna have to bring her back in.
Is this where the lens flares come from?
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna put those in post.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do right now is, I'd love for you to look at him on camera.
Okay, well, that's good.
And then I'm gonna send you back to reset her. Does that work?
Got makeup coming in.
Yeah, we're doing someone else, and then we're gonna go back to her after she's done that. But it's same setup. Same exact setup. Yeah. Let's look at him, and then, have a moment. You got night vision on that thing?
Yeah.
Dark night vision.
Dark night vision. Why are you trying to kill me? Fans, Star Trek fans, you guys, this is what happens. Star Trek fans come together.
They leave the door open.
They do.
And then I closed it.
I'm right here.
Well, they don't close it. They shut it hard.
So today I decided to get 2 new interns, some of the volunteers, to do the doors. And not the guys, they're wonderful, but the doors.
And then when they're getting ready to shoot, I'm gonna move over to the left a little bit to get out of the way. Don't want to give it away, you guys. But we all know that the bridge looks amazing, so it's good.
You could be an engineering console.
Yeah, I'm gonna be one. Alright, I'm gonna head over here. I'm gonna say, that's so blue. Thanks, Starweaver. I try. This is all thanks to Axanar. Gracious. They're so nice to get me out here for this. I'm very grateful. Very generous.
We're gonna do his interview while she resets and looks at the new lens.
Okay.
He needs to get her makeup reset.
There's Paul, the director. Paul is a huge Star Trek fan.
in their fucking head at one. Like you and I said constantly, we're out. I know that I've said that before. I'm not talking, I know you did. I'm saying that you want to stop plugging your head and tell me, don't say Referral, say Referral.
Keith. Who the fuck is Keith? He's the BTS guy. He's not me.
No, I know that. I'm saying
I just gave him a piece of my mind. I don't
just saying. Listen,
don't
you
listen
know
to
what-
anyone but me.
Hey, mate.
When it comes to Star Trek, I am the fucking voice of God.
Let's get it. That's funny. So when it comes to Star Trek, I am Garth of Izar.
So we got a picture? Okay, very specific.
Last night on this bridge, they were filming Tanaka, his character interview about what happened during the Klingon conflict. And I didn't even film any of it. Well, I probably shouldn't have filmed any of it, which was good, but I was just watching it in awe. I felt like I was there.
Hey, Jamie, can I have you situation sit on the stage?
It was just amazing to be there in real time, watching someone live through what they remember of the conflict. I'm getting chills right now. Oh, and we just met him earlier. Russian engineer on set. Everybody raise a glass of vodka. Look at that. Looks like a movie, right? I know it's grainy on the phone, but it still looks like a movie. Because it is.
How are we doing?
Doing great. It's been a long road getting from there to here. Been a long time. My time is finally here. Some dreams come alive at night. I can touch the sky.
Yeah, right.
We're doing some more, looks like they're doing some bridge close-ups of different characters, and I'm positive they're going to be doing more character interviews on the bridge today. Unless they don't. Pissed. Yeah, but they were pissed all in good fun, which is the difference. No, JG, he wrapped yesterday, and he had he had to get back to LA really quickly for another engagement he had on his calendar. It was pressing. But wow, it was so great to have him on set. So there's a little bit of Martok in JG's. He's got these, big. He's commanding in a very lovely way. He comes, he's very giving to anyone he's talking to.
You were just about to finish it.
Remembers people's names. He's always got something fun to say, or a quip, or a story to share. When you're around him, you're like, you just feel talent in the air. It's a nice feeling to be around people like that just ooze creativity and a little bit of that fun Klingon side. Thanks, Orville Nation. Should people be here? More talk. If anyone wants to go find my blood wine that somebody stole and bring it back to me, I'll be your Martok. The bridge set is so amazing. It is 360 degrees. When you are in there, you are on the bridge of a starship. Who out there saw the new Picard trailer? What's going on? What do you guys think? You guys ready to boldly go? So many options for Star Trek fans right now to boldly go. I'll tell you right now, I loved the Picard trailer. Absolutely loved it. And you guys know how I feel about CBS and their version of Star Trek. Well, the Picard trailer, I'm very excited. Oh, it's a trailer. They got to put a lot of action scenes in the trailer. I can tell it's very character focused. Gotta have faith in the heart. Oh, here comes Chris, you guys. Shia LaBeouf. There he is. No, not Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Just do it. Shia we should do is like, make it so. Make it so. Just make it so. Oh, you're talking about Popcast theory about the daughters. I don't know about the daughter. I don't know. I don't know if Picard's ever had sex with a person before. I haven't heard the theory though. I have to hear it first. I've just been so busy. We have a lot to catch up on when we get back on. When we get back on tomorrow. First thing I'm gonna catch up on is sleep. I know that. Riker's daughter. I know who plays Riker's daughter. I've talked about her in one of my previous videos. But who's the mother? Vash.
You're looking at me like that. I told you not to.
You're looking at me? I'm the only one here. Yeah, we've known that the Romulans are in charge of that Borg prison ship. We've known that for a while. I'm sure the Borg tried to attack Romulus when they were dealing with the destruction of their planet. I bet the Borg thought it'd be easy pickings. And Picard was there to save them and bring them back to the light after not only the destruction of their planet, but everything that broke apart because of Shinzon. Stupid Shinzon.
Can you come back to my hotel and speak in that same soft, sultry voice? I mean, not really into the cuddling thing, but I mean, that's a good bedtime story, and I'm down.
Well, assuming that you can promised to get me to the airport tomorrow because I'm still trying to work that out.
What time are you going to the airport?
I want to be there by like 11.
I need to be there by 9.
Dude, I'm going to be asleep at 9.
We get there at 8, then we just, like, gear up.
There you go. I'm going to water down. Thanks, Christopher Butcher.
Chris, I'm original now.
Yeah, had no idea it's so much close access. Yeah, Graham, I have what I like to prefer as all access. But
One of the key grips gave me a key grip earlier accidentally. I think they thought my ass was a roll of paper.
Alex shot up all of his bridge scenes with his crew. We've had multiple crews, at least 3 or 4 different crews here, bridge crews. He shot all his bridge crew stuff the last couple days. Today he's going to be shooting his character Garth interview.
This scene is also being narrated by an ice chest with water in it.
That's true. Thanks, Christopher. Kapla, kapla. One thing I'm disappointed about, there's no prune juice on the craft table.
What are you on your period?
No, I want a Warrior's drink.
Oh, Worf.
There you go.
That was insensitive.
You need more prune juice.
This might be a cliffhanger.
Everybody make sure to settle, it echoes in here.
When we are done, I will be at 7:35. It's very much. You will enjoy it.
We are?
You. Let's talk.
Wait, hold on. Let's get camera set. You guys, let me know if you're set. Stand by. Alright, flying. Alright. Continue speeding. We got one final tweak. Camera, what do you need? It's a large. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and cut everybody.
God encountered this script. He also would be cut.
Yeah, they're doing, well, you probably know, they're doing 2 episodes. So I'm assuming
15 minutes each.
yeah, I'm sure they'll be doing a cliffhanger. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
I always like that in Star Trek, like, if you're gonna go off world for the most part, it's gotta be in a cave. And
Yeah,
it's
it's easier.
hanging off the cliff every time.
Yeah.
Literally.
Even though they usually film it in a pit.
Like a flogging molly pit.
Well, now they had like a, on set, they had this pit where all usually the planets were filmed down in the pit. Yeah. That light. Oh, I wish I could see the other side. That light is throwing off an effect for the, oh, that's so cool.
These green and yellow.
Yeah, that was like, let me see. Just an urge to do a live stream. Oh, it's not an urge to resist. Mr. Miles will be doing some live streaming from the bridge once they're done using it.
Thank you guys.
Hopefully they get done using it at some point. Security just hit that guy hard, but took him to the ground. That door is a wormhole to Georgia. Cerrado la puerta. Sí. Star Trek, crazy kooky Star Trek. Yeah, they don't have room for cup holders. I always thought Picard should have a beer hat that he just put his tea into the holders.
Tea. Oh, great.
Yeah, that way it doesn't get in his way at all. Biscuits. See a Star Weaver.
Everyone settle, we are rolling.
I like to run a loose environment, but all of my people know what they're doing. I expect them to know where they are at all times to be able to accomplish things, and then when we're done, first and foremost, this is a very, very nice man. That's a very nice figure in his uniform, very handsome. Do not give that man something. Yes, I am I have a spirit. I like to make my own vodka because the Russians would not let it work to me by a robot. Because it tastes like crap. And I'm not trying to wait the vodka that tastes like it's been run through a criminal's ass. You know what I mean? And I surely did. You so, when we passed within the shield range of these vehicles, we were hit with a blast of feedback, the same blast of feedback. And then all of a sudden, I get Kathy yelling at me to match the same frequency with the frequency from before, with Izar. It is all to do with shield frequencies and all. So, not only as loose, transport that's transport of payload seems to be seconds, which is then that we got with the I think, moving forward,
And everybody can breathe again.
You need that kind of audio. Do they pick any of that audio up from all the way up?
Probably a tiny bit, not very unclear. Yeah, that guy was hitting his lines. They weren't even resetting or anything. That dude they just nailed it. Looks like he's going to be rushing off to holding. Boom.
Russians don't hold Klingons in high regard. I didn't really know that.
Well, yeah, because they're racist against Klingons. Rude. I don't think anybody holds Klingons in high regard in this time frame.
Do you think they interfere in Klingon elections?
Yeah, I think they do. Let me see if I get a look at that light.
Listen, actually, tell me when,
There's that light.
so we're just gonna go and get your phone call.
I'm changing media and battery.
Probably more, most friendly, that's probably the thing I'm missing.
Sneak in here.
The battery cost can be good. Check back.
Yes. Robin, Paul, can they get you back? Yeah.
Go. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Lisa, I'm good?
Yeah. No, well, she always has to.
Yes, yes, yes.
Please go ahead and sit in. Again, everybody settle. Let's roll sound.
Number 5 is
Your head control.
cut.
Are we good to get our, can we get our alts?
Think about getting some alt shots, you guys.
Yes, sir. Flying it.
It's producer Scott just ran by. Yes, Axanar is alive and very well. And of course, this is just a small piece of the puzzle this weekend. They're getting a lot of great stuff this weekend, but this is just one of 5 shoots that's going to be going on. This is just the first piece of the puzzle this weekend, these 3 days. Yeah, it's just gonna look phenomenal. It's gonna look phenomenal. This is gonna be a game changer. It's just, how could it not? From what I've seen with my own 2 eyes, with glasses on, by the way, this is going to be a game changer. Sorry, I gotta move my hand there. Some of the filling is returned to my hand, so I might as well use it. This is the first time I've seen them use a light like that. I'm sure it's casting an amazing effect onto the bridge. Thank you, Giant Pants.
Do you have this copy? That's what I thought.
Sorry, appreciate it. All right, cool.
It's so funny, everybody is just so quiet when they say action. It's insane. They're gonna go again, you guys.
You want me to roll for that? Yeah.
Alicia, we calling this Apple?
How are we on card space, Cameron? No. Pages a minute? Oh. A. Okay. Wardrobe, let's roll sound. Get slated, let's roll A.
To the 5.
Everybody settle, we're rolling sound.
Boom.
Great. Alright, so I'm gonna
All right, cut, you guys. Man, that guy was killing it. Knows his stuff.
It's almost like I'm the one who made the schedule. Whoa.
Yeah, text your text
There's Alec. Alec was snapping pictures during that scene. Memories.
Ready to serve or like show up? Okay. Oh my god. Global warming! Obama's in town. Digestive unrest. That's a good one. Is this from, we said
Let's walk around here. Just get out of there for a little bit. Everyone's shuffling around, moving stuff. Don't want to get in the way. We'll head back a little bit later. Hey, hey. Had some exciting stuff being filmed in there. How you doing in here? Good. You ready for today? You got anything fun going on? All right. It's the easy part now.
You have to get mic, yes. You want mic? All right, stand by.
Well, break leg.
I have Kessel right here. I mentioned she was in Hogan. I'm wanting her to sit now.
All right. We got the Trey here who's been chatting with you guys.
I think they cut over there, didn't they?
Yeah, they just cut right now. They're probably, I think they're resetting for other stuff.
So someone was asking earlier, is that the guy from Egotastic Fun Time? And I'm like, yep, that's JP Poole.
That's
from
right.
Egotastic Fun Time.
Hey, gang. Today we're going to have a great time being at Axanar.
Wait, are we going to, what? I thought we're called Stacks now.
Oh, yes. One of you said Stacks. Star Trek Axanar. Stacks.
Axanars, and I've been actually here working the
chat.
Working the chat.
Yeah, we're probably going to end the stream here in just a minute. We got a nice 2-hour block, but we will be back. We'll also be streaming on Egotastic Fun Time. Link is down below. And, geez, this is exciting.
As always, we hope all your times are Egotastic Axanar Fun Times.
There you go. So you can check out Egotastic Fun Time a little bit later, you guys, but we're going to shut this down because this camera needs to be recharged. So we want to thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back later today right here on Axanar channel as well. Pick up more of what's going on so you guys can be here with us. This is it's just been an incredible weekend. It's been exciting to actually, for the first time in my life, be on a set that feels like the Star Trek that we've known and love all these years, you guys. And we'll be bringing you more soon. Stay tuned throughout the day. Live long and prosper.